Hi folks, welcome back to Stacey Can. Today I am making a spring conserve, which I am in a springy mood here because in Oregon it has just been a rainy, gloomy sadness for spring, and it's very late in the season and we haven't had those sun breaks that we normally love. We had a really dry January and February, but it's making up for it now in March and in April and May especially. So anyway, I would like to say you can make this year round, but you really can't because we do need to use rhubarb. But this is a fun springy thing to do, and it's just happy and sounds delicious. So what you need is 1.5 cups of crushed pineapple. I couldn't find crushed pineapple, so I actually have chunks, so I'm actually gonna manually crush that myself. 1.5 cups of whole crushed strawberries. Hulled, meaning H-U-L-L-E-D. That's where you have to take the stem out and what the stem is attached to. You can kind of cut it if you want, but it's nice to take the hull out if you can. More on that in a little bit. 1.5 cups of golden raisins, 1 lemon, grated, zested, and juiced, a tablespoon of pectin, 6.5 cups of sugar, and 1.5 or a half of a cup of pecans. The other ingredients and tools that you'll need obviously are your lids and rings. I am heating up the lids today. You'll need a paper towel for that. Some measuring devices, bowls and such. You're gonna need a container here to mush up the strawberries with, because we will definitely need, I'm using a potato masher for it. You can use other things. You could put it in a food processor, but you gotta be really careful if you do that because you could mush it up too much and make it too pureed, and you don't want that. You do want the chunks of the berries in there. You're gonna need your lid lifter, your jar lifter, ladle, Headspace tool, and I do have a zester here as well for the lemon, as well as some knives and our funnel. Need a big pot. Here's some extra rhubarb in case I'm doing another recipe with more rhubarb. I've got my jars heating up. This makes about 7 little half pints of conserve, and so I have my jars heating up in there. And so with all of that, let's go ahead and get our spring on and be happy. I have finally chopped the rhubarb into, as little pieces as I possibly could. I have also crushed the 1.5 cups of strawberries, crushed and hulled. So you just take a knife and cut around it, and you can pull out the insert there for the strawberry. So that's what I did there. And I did go ahead and crush the strawberries. So I have my 1.5 cups of canned crushed strawberries, and I've included the juice with it too. So you want some pineapple juice in there as well. And then we'll add our strawberries, our 1 1/4 cups of rhubarb finely chopped, our 1/2 cup of golden raisins, and now I'm going to go ahead and zest this lemon. I'm just doing it into the pot here because I think lemon zest, as you can see, it doesn't take much to zest it. So I find it easier to just do it over the pot versus doing it in a bowl. And you want to, now I'm getting kind of down to the pith there. So that's where you definitely want to stop. So we're just getting the outer skin. Now I'm juicing the lemon. And you can just squeeze it, but you can hand squeeze it. It's pretty easy to hand squeeze at this point, but I have a juicer, so I'm gonna use the juicer. And I've got it up to a high heat. We're just gonna go ahead and get this stirring and bring it to a rolling boil. And you wanna make sure that you stir this frequently. You don't wanna let it just sit, or you'll scald the fruit. I've got a good rolling boil going, and I'm going to dump in all the sugar at the same time. You want to definitely pre-measure the sugar, so you can add it all in at the same time, and then you just want to start stirring away until it's combined, and we'll bring it to another boil. But we got to stir constantly. We've got a rolling boil going here. Check this out. And this is what you want. You want to boil it hard for 1 minute. And it looks pretty cool. And you want to stir constantly. Gonna go ahead and add the chopped pecan, the half a cup of pecans chopped. And now I'm gonna cut the heat. Now this is a part where you can skim the foam if you want. I'm not going to, and we're not really doing a gel test here because it doesn't totally matter. And we're gonna go ahead and get this bottled up. All right, so I'm removing the jars. We've had them heating. It's at 180 degrees in here, which is where you want your jars to be heated and the canner to be heated when you're putting a hot item into a hot canner. We're hot packing. And that's what that means, is it processes the food and the jars better, if you can do that. And we're gonna fill it to a 1/4 inch headspace. I am not bubbling with this because it sets up pretty quickly. So I'm at a 1/4 inch headspace right here. I'm gonna take our paper towel, and I've heated the lids. I'm gonna wipe the rim off. I'm gonna take my lid lifter and add our lid. Here's our ring. And remember, just fingertip tight. This is hot potato. Hoofda. And then up and over and into the canner it goes. Do not tip or tilt. I got all the jars in the canner here. And I've kept the heat up to hot, and so when it comes to a rolling boil, we'll go ahead and set the timer to process these jars. Got a rolling boil going, so I've set the timer for 15 minutes for my altitude, which is 0 to 1,000 feet. The rest of the altitude information and times adjustments are up here on the side, and also down below in the show notes. The timer's gone off, so we're gonna cut the heat. So I've got the heat off, and now we're gonna remove the lid very carefully from the canner. Just make sure to lift it up away from your face. Look at all that steam, away from your face, because that's a facial you don't want. Set the lid off to the side, and we'll set a timer for 5 minutes. This allows the food in the jars to settle, as well as helps with the sealing process of lids too. The 5-minute timer has gone off to settle the jars, the food in the jars. So I'm gonna go ahead and take them out now. And remember, when you take them out, you just wanna go up and over and down. You don't wanna tip or tilt. The jars are sealing away as we go. There's another one. They're sealing away. And yet another one. So this is how we make spring conserve, and it's quite delicious. I am going to show it to you real quick. Isn't that lovely? It is absolutely beautiful. And this is how we make spring conserve. It is delicious. It smells so decadent. It's very sweet because you've got the strawberries plus the sugar, obviously, but also the pineapple. But the pineapple, it doesn't give it a tropical flavor to it. It just brightens it. Just brightens this up. It's got great flavor. Those pecans in there give it a nice little bit of texture and a bit of a crunch, but not too heavy on the crunch. And it's just delicious. This would be excellent as, gosh, I don't know, you can eat it with a spoon. That's what we do here. Over cheese. You can use it as a glaze. You can use it as a marinade if you want on chicken or tofu or any of your vegetables as well. It really is delicious and quite lovely. Or just, peanut butter and jelly, or however you choose to enjoy. Over a good stinky cheese too. Real good, it'd be delicious over a stinky cheese. But that's just me. So please, the recipe for this is down below. And while you're down there, if you could like and subscribe, that does help. And if you have any questions, comments, suggestions, feedback, concerns, by all means, please reach out to me. I'm on Facebook at Stacey Can. You can at me on Instagram and TikTok at Stacey Can. My website is www.staceycancan.com, and my email is info@staceycancan.com. I'm also on LinkedIn. Just check me out at Stacey Can. Thanks so much again for joining me today, and until next time, happy canning.